March 2nd, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 121 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
On our last episode, one of our listeners was bemoaning the decline at Borgata since MGM has taken over. He said that most of the blackjack had been changed to 6 to 5 and that he'd had some surly dealers at the craps table and, that it was just kind of going down.
Yeah.
Well, the 6 to 5 blackjack report actually spawned a discussion over at the Due for a Win Facebook group. And more than one person said that all the blackjack at Borgata is still 3 to 2.
And these are people who've been there?
Yeah, they were saying, oh my gosh, what happened? And these were people who went, within these last 2 weeks.
Okay.
And, that's what they saw was 3 to 2 on all the tables. So
good. I mean, that's a good thing.
That is good, yep.
I wonder, maybe when he was there, maybe some of them were switching to
I don't know. I
6-5 and they switched back?
Maybe, I guess. It seems like, because if you switch, you're changing out felts and, there's a whole big bunch of stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, that is good news.
We need to find out, speaking of that, I'd like to know how often they do change felts out.
Oh, just any felt because of the way, yeah.
I mean, just, somebody spilled a drink last night or, whatever. I know during the day shift when things are closed, I've seen them cleaning felts and, vacuuming them and even shampooing them. I've seen where they wash them.
Well, we are out at the craps table so often at Harrah's by us. It does seem like they switch out the felts fairly regularly.
Yeah,
do you think it's like once every 6 months or is it?
It seems like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even more frequent than that.
Yeah, that sounds like a question, an ask a dealer question. Or,
I'd be curious to know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have to find out.
Because if they have a lot of them on hand, it wouldn't be hard to switch from 3-2 to 6-5, just like the next day, let's change some felts.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's a hard thing to do either.
Probably not. You just got to stretch it and make sure that, it's tight enough.
Well, there's padding underneath it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a thing, there's something that goes down that kind of pulls it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We saw him do it once.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Where was that?
That was actually at the D.
Oh,
Remember before they had the tournament?
Oh, yeah,
2
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago,
That's
before
right.
the VIMP tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
They pulled one off and put another one on or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I mean, so this is good news about Borgata. Now, who knows, right? There's still like, what's going to happen now that MGM's taken over? Because they have gone to 3, 4, 5 on the craps tables. It used to be full 5 times odds.
Right.
And I don't know, I haven't heard this for sure, but remember when you and I went to Borgata, all we had to do was show our diamond or higher total rewards card, and they gave us $100 in free play for signing up for their card. I bet they don't do that anymore.
No, I bet MGM doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And they may change the casino a little bit. I mean, things like they may have higher limits.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Borgata wasn't that low to begin with.
Right.
But, MGM is known for that.
We'll see. Hopefully things kind of stay the way they are right now, at least. Don't get any worse. We got an email from listener Jason. I'm just going to paraphrase here. He goes to a semi-regular 50-cent $1 no-limit hold'em home game hosted by a friend. Now, when Jason plays in a casino, it's usually 2-5 no limit, but he doesn't live very close to a casino. So this home game is way more convenient for him.
Right.
However, most of the guys in the home game have little or no actual casino poker experience.
Yeah, what amazes me about that so far is that they play no limit Texas Hold'em.
Well, that's the thing.
I know
what you're saying, but
if they have no experience, you think they'd have more fun playing like goofy games, right?
Oh, like wild card games?
Yeah, like
baseball.
wild card games. Right, things like that. I mean, not regular casino games, because usually people who are less experienced, they know some of those goofy games because you played them, right, as a kid. But there's the whole structure of no limit, you're not real familiar with.
Well, but see, you're coming from maybe a generation where that would have been true, but poker's been on TV pretty regularly for now almost 20 years.
Are you calling me old? Is that what you're saying?
That's all that they have been seeing on TV is the no limit hold'em.
Right,
I'm just going to continue to talk here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what anybody wants to play. It's like there is no other poker game. Oh, no limit hold'em, right? That is poker.
You're right. That's probably a millennial thing where they've grown up. That's all they think poker is.
Right. That's right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's easily the most popular game. And we even know people who have home games, and that's all they play.
Yeah.
Now, we don't. We like mixing it up quite a bit.
Right.
But that's...
We're old men. We like Omaha.
That's right. Oh, if we were really old men, we'd be playing 5-card draw.
Right. Yeah.
Well, anyway, when the home game starts, Jason goes over casino poker rules with the group. He just says, okay, here's what they do in the casino. For example, no string bets, don't play out of turn, one player to a hand, cards speak, things like that.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Well, he says...
It's hard to do in a home game.
He says that without fail, these casino poker rules are broken multiple times per night.
Well, it's a home game.
I know. But think about our home game, right? I mean, we do have kind of those rules in place. Now, our players are probably more experienced because they have played in casinos.
But they still do break the rules sometimes.
Well, every once in a while, but it's not egregious.
No.
Like if you're playing out of turn, it's never some angle shoot or something. It's somebody honestly not realizing.
Right, and it's more of, because they're looking at the TV, which is on in the background, or they're chatting about, Comic-Con or something with somebody.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right. Yes. So anyway, when he tries to call people on it, say he tries to correct them about the rules, they come back with, why are you such a stickler for the rules? It doesn't matter. We're having fun. We're playing poker.
Right.
And Jason mentioned some other things in his email, but at the end, he wanted to know, is he being unreasonable? What should he do? And I wrote back, here's the thing. Even if you don't play poker, you've probably been in a situation like at a party where you're playing some game with everyone, like Pictionary or something like that. And some people are just having fun and don't really care too much about the rules. And then there's somebody who's just, no, you can't do that. You have to play this way.
Right.
I think I'm that guy. I think I'm kind of like that.
You're kind of like that, but you're not terrible.
Well, no, but I mean, I lean more towards that.
You would like to see a more structured, clean game.
Yeah, it's kind of like, why are we going to play if we're not going to play by the rules?
Right. I understand that.
Yeah.
But then again, some of the people are just doing it for fun, right?
Right.
They're not real serious about the poker.
Yeah, right.
They're there for other reasons, the camaraderie.
Yes, right.
Get out
exactly.
of the house,
Sure.
whatever. Nothing on TV.
Yeah.
Padres are on. Things like that'll get you to come to poker.
That's right. And you saw my response to him. I basically wrote back and suggested that if he's winning money at the game, he should probably try to maybe just change his outlook and just go with the flow.
Right.
Mention things every once in a while, but, don't make a big deal of it.
In other words, toe the line. There's a fine line. When it's real egregious, you got to say something.
Sure, of course.
But if it's just, okay, let it go.
Right. Especially since he's not the host. And that's the other thing, right? It's a friend of his that's hosting. And he said his host friend, doesn't really get into it. He's kind of non-confrontational. Yeah. But it's still, he's the one hosting the game,
and
right?
And he is the one that should control more what goes on.
Right. Yeah. And it's fine to, maybe pull the host aside and say, here's some rules we really, need to enforce them. But you don't want to alienate people to the point where they don't show up for the game anymore. Or worse, where you're not invited anymore. Because oh my gosh, what a stick in the mud.
Right.
We're not going to have them home. It's possible that I've chased some poker players from our home poker game away with me kind of being a stickler for stuff. But
I don't know about that.
Right,
it's possible.
Maybe
but
some,
I can't speak for people, but I don't think so.
Yeah, because everybody who comes to our game, they want to play poker. I mean, there is socializing, but poker's still the main thing.
No, most of the time, everyone wants it to go quick. I mean, we're kind of all
we definitely play fast. Yeah,
we're on to the next hand. There's not a lot of goofing around.
But you agree that's kind of what he needs, I think. So anyway, it's just, maybe pull back. I know that's hard. It'd be hard for me, where you just kind of grit your teeth and, oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it was so bad that it really annoyed me, I wouldn't go anymore.
Sure.
And if it was, just, it's okay, I'd just roll with it. And every once in a while, maybe say something like, well, you can't really do that. Like string betting.
Well, see here,
that's a really bad one.
I don't know that it is, Mike, because if you're talking about players that really don't, have had no casino experience,
right?
They're not trying to make a move by doing a string bet.
I know.
That's not an angle shoot, right? They just don't know.
Well, yeah. Okay. If they do it once or twice, but you get a guy that's doing it every week and you've mentioned it before.
I understand, but
then you kind of wonder.
For me though, I'd have to see somebody go, I call, and then kind of look around at everybody to see the right, and I raise.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah.
But yeah.
It's true. It depends on the circumstances. But some of that stuff is just, I mean, we play a ton of poker, so it's easy for us to say, oh, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
A guy who doesn't play, I mean, we've been to games like that, right?
Sure, of course.
So our friend Dave, who puts on a poker tournament, it's structured, it's run really well. We've been to other ones at other people's houses where they're terrible.
Well, you have to admit that the people that show up to Dave's tournament, they've been coming a lot and they know. Right. So you rarely get some
a lot of them
novice
play
or something.
poker.
Yeah, a lot of them do
in
in
casinos. So remember, you've been to a few home games where there's more socializing and more talking than there actually is poker play.
Oh, yeah, sure.
See, and for me, unless I really, they're my best friends.
Sure.
I'm not going to that.
It can drive me crazy. It's true. Sometimes, I have been to games where it's like, I just have to grit my teeth. It's like, okay, they want to talk about this thing. Let's just let them do it. And,
But it's like, you've set aside time on Saturday night.
I know.
When you've got other stuff to do. You could be out of the casino, for God's sake. And, they're chatting about, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Jason, good luck. Let us know how it goes. Let us know if you're able to kind of change your mindset and are able to handle it.
I think the best thing to do would just be to put up with it, especially since there's not a casino nearby him.
Yeah, he doesn't have it's like a 3-hour drive to get to a casino. So that's
and if you enjoy the people,
that's the other thing. If you enjoy them, that's good. If you don't enjoy them, then maybe you should go. And again, if you're losing, then maybe you don't want to go.
And option C is move closer to a casino.
Yeah, that is
just tell your wife, look, we got to move.
This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
I'm not winning enough off these guys. 50 cent, $1. Give me a break. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up, Cousin Vito.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. Cousin Vito from the East Coast. And I'm calling you this week because I need some advice. I listened to your show, so I don't really need gambling advice this week, but I need some food advice. Me and my cousin Mikey were heading out to Las Vegas Memorial Day weekend. And I was wondering if you and Dr. Mike had any sort of tips on great restaurants you always go to, maybe a favorite type of sandwich or buffet, seafood dish. What do you guys eat when you go to Vegas? Is there a can't miss spot you guys always go to? Thank you very much for your time, and, maybe I'll see you out there.
Yeah, that's going to be great. We're going to actually meet Cousin Vito for the first time
That'd
and his
be
cousin
nice.
Mikey. Yeah. Well, Mike, any ideas?
Well, we've eaten at a lot of places in Vegas.
Yeah.
Usually we're more concerned about getting back to the craps table, so we really don't care.
Yes, that's true.
And I know you've listed a couple places here. I agree with those. We'll talk about those in a minute. And you're going to have to help me here. Where was the place we ate and you were really drunk? And the food wasn't all that great, but it was one of my favorite all-time meals with you in Vegas. Do you remember where that was?
And I was really drunk?
You were really,
It was
really
just the
drunk.
two of us?
It was just the two of us. We went into the restaurant. It was real late at night, like, 3 a.m. or something.
Oh, I know where you're talking about. It was at SLS.
Oh, at SLS.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like their little coffee shop. It's not there anymore. It's different. Yeah,
it's
okay.
different. But that was so much fun.
Yeah, I don't remember much of that meal.
The food was actually okay in the coffee shop.
Was it?
There.
All right.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. But you were so drunk, and the comments you made about everything.
I was a little loud.
You were very loud. And I was like, oh, God, we're either going to get beat up or something's going to happen to us. But it was funny. I was a little on edge, but having a good time.
So that was your
too.
favorite meal in Las Vegas. All right.
Meal.
Well, SLS, the coffee shop that's not there anymore. Yeah, the only place we consistently would go to was the Range Steakhouse at Harrah's.
It was excellent.
Yeah, we both really liked it. It has a great view, looking over the strip. It's not there anymore. It's a Ruth's Chris now.
Yeah.
So, which is a chain.
As far as steakhouses go, the Range was excellent.
Yeah, we thought so, yeah.
They had really good food.
Yeah.
And the ambiance was good. It was
So,
nice.
beyond that, I mean, there's certainly not a can't miss place that we go. We generally go to either someplace new or
Right.
someplace that's close.
Right.
The only thing I might say, and maybe you'll agree with me here, is that we did have a very good meal at Hugo's Cellar.
Yes. I mean,
at Four Queens.
right. And that place is well known for being great.
Got a good reputation.
It's a little pricey.
It's old Vegas-y,
It's
with
old
the velvet and
Vegas-y.
everything.
If you want a real like classic older Vegas, that's the place to eat. The food is excellent.
That salad cart. That's
The
what I love is the
cart
salad
excellent.
cart
Yeah, they
coming
bring
around,
this big cart out and they make your salad to order.
Yeah.
But we liked it. I don't know that younger people would like it.
Yeah, it's
unless you really wanted something nostalgia.
Right, and it is kind of a romantic restaurant.
Yeah, right. Right. All the women who go in get roses.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mark and I show up and they're like,
Table for two.
no rose. Okay.
Yeah, who gets it? Right, they're trying to pass it. Which one?
No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
But that's the only thing I'd say. It is.
Yeah,
It
and
doesn't.
then, last resort place. I mean, it's lots of fun.
It's lots of fun. Wretch Dog.
Wretch
I think
Dog.
it's actually called a hot dog, but
Yeah.
we've always called it the Wretch Dog.
Yeah, that in a pinch that'll do.
It was 99 cents at one point and $1.99 last time. I have no idea how expensive the hot dog is. It's lots of fun now, but you can get whatever you want on
You
it.
can load that baby up. I mean, it's like a meal. Seriously, if you're homeless and you've got 99 cents, that was the place
When we
to
were
go.
in our 20s, we would go there because it was so cheap.
Yeah.
And I would try to gross everybody out by putting, every single condiment on chili. And,
Yeah, I mean, for $2, you can get a hot dog with anything possible that can fit on it.
Yeah. So maybe not much help though, Vito, but we're looking forward to meeting you on Memorial Day.
I think most of the restaurants are pretty good now.
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah.
Caesar's, the steakhouse at Caesar's.
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
We've
We've eaten there
quite
several
a bit.
times.
Yeah, and that's really good.
Yeah. All right, let's hear from Paul. He's got a report about international craps.
Hi guys, this is Paul up in Canada. I thought I'd give you a call with a report from a recent trip to the Philippines and Malaysia, in case you were ever thinking about going out there for some craps. So I visited the 4 major casinos in Manila, Resorts World Manila, City of Dreams, Solera Resort and Casino, and Okada Manila. Craps offerings are pretty standard across the 4, 2 or 3 tables per property. Prices range from about 300 pesos to 1,000, which you're looking at about $6 US up to about $20, and that's in their high limit area. Pretty standard offerings, 3 or 4 or 5 times odds, no special bets, no fire bets, no all tall small. And one unique thing is that every table seemed to have this massive plastic divider down the middle, which I can only assume is to prevent dice sliding. Games are typically busy, players are pretty enthusiastic, so if you want a low cost option, certainly not a bad choice at any of those properties. Heading over to Malaysia is a slightly different situation. Resorts World Genting is the only casino in the whole country. Massive casino, one of the biggest in the world, and not a single craps table. They do have a game called Mini Dice, which I guess you could say is similar to a shoot to win craps. It's basically a hourglass shaped metal cage with some dice in it that they spin around, and whatever it lands on is the roll. So you get your pretty standard bets, no options to touch a dice, and not overall the most exciting game to watch. So if you are looking for craps, I think the Philippines is probably a better choice over Malaysia, but certainly Genting is a sight to see as well. Anyway, love the show. Talk to you guys soon.
Good. Thanks for the report, Paul. Has your brother been to Philippines or Malaysia to play?
He's been to the Philippines and Malaysia, but I don't know that he's played.
Okay. All right. Well,
I'll have to ask him about that.
the only place that so he was talking about that little, kind of lump in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
You don't see that much in the United States. The only place you and I saw was at Revel.
Right.
They had like a wire going
They had
across
a wire,
there, right?
But
To
remember
prevent.
years ago, and I'm talking way back, we saw a few places
Maybe,
that had either a bump, like a little raised thing,
Yeah.
or a wire.
I guess so. Yeah. Now that you say it, maybe a
Yeah.
long time
So
ago.
I remember a place like that. I just can't believe that dice sliding is that big a problem.
It's funny because there have been some recent articles about people who are being charged with dice sliding at casinos here in Las Vegas. And, people have talked on Twitter. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
One thing is that you distract the dealers.
Okay.
right? That's a big part of it is you distract them. But yeah, there are 3 dealers at the table, plus a boxman sometimes, but 3 deal. I mean, really, to slide them, how much sliding is really going on? There's the roll.
And if you distracted them for one roll, can you do it every roll?
I mean, it's something they need to watch out for, but I'm amazed that people are able to do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to me like it's feasible.
Yeah, you got to find the right crew.
Yeah.
I did look up the mini dice. I actually went to the Genting website. Mini dice, it's a 3 dice game. In that. So it's like Chuck-a-Luck or Sick Bow. And I wasn't able to actually see the whole layout, but I did see the container with the 3 dice in there. So,
well, I'm glad to know Chuck-a-Luck's alive and well.
That's always good news. Yeah.
I wish they'd bring back that in the U.S.
I know. We've talked about it. Any Chuck-a-Luck in Las Vegas?
No.
Let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Brian.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Brian from Southern Ohio. Found your podcast a couple months ago, and I've been catching myself up, listened to every episode, and finally got caught up, and I wanted to call in and give you guys a trip report on this last trip I went out to Vegas. I'm 33, and I've been going to Vegas since my 21st birthday. I try to go out anywhere from 2 to 4 times a year, and this is the first time that I've actually left with a bad taste in my mouth, and even had a winning trip, too. So what I wanted to tell you about was my buddy and I, we were at the MGM Grand, and he's not a big gambler, so we kind of had a compromise where he would gamble with me a little bit, and I would do some of the stuff that he wanted to do, which is kind of lame, like drink craft beer and stuff. But anyways, we were playing at the MGM Grand. I was at the tables, and he was at the slots, and I did my session, and I came over to get him, and a gentleman approached us, and he was wearing a Topgolf hat, Topgolf name tag, Topgolf shirt, and he said, "Hey, I saw you guys were playing for a while. I wanted to reach out to you and give you some coupons for some free games and free beers." And we kind of looked at each other. We have a Topgolf here where we're from in Cincinnati. We've done it before. We've done it several times. And we kind of thought, well, if he's giving us this ticket for buy 1 hour, get 1 free and 2 free beers, it might be worth it to go over there and relax a little bit. So we went over. With Topgolf, you pay in the bay where you're actually playing the game. So you had our cards already, and we went up there, and we handed our tickets to the waitress, and she kind of looked at him like she had never seen him before, but she played it off like she didn't want to look stupid. So she was like, "Oh, yeah, we'll take care of this at the end." And lo and behold, they didn't take it. We ordered our beers. We played 2 hours, but they charged us for everything. They wouldn't accept the tickets. They said they'd never seen them before. The waitress had actually told us we had to use them at the bar. We couldn't use them at the bay. It didn't say anything like that on these tickets. And I know that it's really not that big of a deal, but it's like the worst experience I've ever had in Vegas because I feel like I got hosed. And I was curious if you guys have ever had a experience like that where somebody, at the casino basically gave you a comp and then reneged on that comp after you had already eaten or what have you. So, and it was a winning hand. Like I said, that very same day, I hit a royal playing video poker, and my buddy and I at the Payou poker table on the same hand, both of us were playing the $5 Envy. I hit 4 natural aces. He hit a straight flush. Awesome. We were high-fiving, but I still could not get those 2.
You got cut off there at the 3-minute mark. 4 aces and a straight flush on the same Payou poker hand. 2 different people. It really is.
That's amazing. That's hard to do if you just sat down for a few hours and you got it one, and then an hour later I got one.
Well,
that'd be hard to do.
I mean, look how much poker we've played here. We're actually sitting at the table where we play poker. So many hands, and I think once we've had 4 of a kind versus a straight flush. And it wasn't 4 aces, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's this side bet that you make on the Payou poker table, and it has an envy bonus. What that means is if you've made the bet and somebody else gets one of the big payouts, you get a little something.
You get a percentage.
Yeah. So this Topgolf thing. So there are people that clubs, like nightclubs, hire to hand out VIP cards that are basically worthless.
Yeah,
right?
they just want to get you in.
Yeah, I don't know if they really pay them. What they do is they give them these cards, and then if the cards end up back at the club, then the guy gets reimbursed. Oh, thanks. But all it is to get people to the club.
Right.
You show up with this VIP card, and it's like, oh yeah, here, go get in the VIP line. It's this huge line, and you're not getting any kind of benefit.
We've had cabbies give them to us before.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. You guys want to go to blah blah blah?
Yeah.
And here's your VIP card.
Yeah.
And it's for nothing.
They get a little kickback, something like that. So at first glance, this seems like the same kind of thing here, but how come no one at Top Golf knew what the coupons were, right? This is weird.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, oh, yeah, thanks for coming in. You know, is nothing. But the guy had Top Golf gear
what
on
would be his advantage to give out
right,
paid
just
cards?
some guy.
Maybe pulled one over
maybe
on
that's
them.
his thing. Yeah, I'll teach Top Golf. Okay. So I don't know. Maybe the employees just weren't kept in the loop on it. You know, they were new coupons or something, and nobody knew. That could be. Anyway, if I were Brian, I'd complain. Maybe call up Top Golf. He said he's got one, where they live, so maybe he can get some kind of free something or whatever. Because that's terrible. And
now, what exactly is Top Golf?
Oh, so Top Golf, it's new to Vegas, but it's basically just this kind of entertainment center where there is golf. There, you can drive, golf balls at certain distances, and you sit in these bays, and you can have drinks, and it's kind of a big party thing. You don't have to be a golfer to do it.
Okay,
and
so it's kind of like Dave and Buster's or something like that.
Well, not exactly, but you kind of have the right idea, right? Golf is the theme, but you don't need to be a golfer, and you're not really on a golf course. You're just basically hitting drives, and having fun and getting together with friends. And we've heard some really positive things about it. So, Brian, maybe call and see if you can get some of that. Because I still can't figure it out. What is this guy doing? Is he hired by Top Golf? What's the...
Well, plenty of times we've had people that they didn't know what was going on. We remember we talked about a few episodes ago where we're out at Hollywood Casino. And, nobody knew about their promo that's got a huge billboard on the highway.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So, it's probably just poor management.
Yeah, maybe.
Where people aren't informed.
Yeah,
right?
the marketing department did something and, nobody actually at the facility knew what was going on. Yeah. That's possible.
Yeah, It's like, hey, we got this great idea. Let's not tell anybody. Let's just hand out these cards.
Now, we haven't really experienced anything like this, but when I got Brian's call, it started getting me thinking about how you have had so much trouble with comped food. Right. When you check into a room and they said, oh, part of this deal that you get this weekend is, you get this amount of money in food, or, just charge it to the room. And, it seems like every time you get some kind of offer like that, something goes wrong.
And then you charge it to the room, and at the end, okay, $300. That's what? I thought it was comped. You said,
Yeah, and there's some specific, oh, no, you failed to say.
I didn't say the
it's
magic
happy
word.
Days. Right, so.
That happens to me. I'm like the forgotten boy.
Oh my gosh.
I order, it comes out wrong. Nobody ever listens
Folks,
to me.
it is amazing. We'll go somewhere to a restaurant. We'll both order. Mike's perfectly clear as far as I can tell, and he'll always get the wrong thing.
It is
no
always.
Onions on that, extra onions, right?
Yeah.
It's so consistent with you.
It is absolutely insane. I'm probably the only person in America that, orders a hamburger, and then when I get home, I open the bag and there's a bun on the top, 3 patties, and then another bun. And that's the hamburger I got. All I wanted was, like a quarter pounder.
Right. There's no condiments or anything.
Nothing.
It's just, the guy wants 3 patties and nothing else.
Who made that? The guy was he thinking, oh, to hell with this guy. I'm giving him 3 patties.
Yeah, maybe just rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. It's weird. Just real quick, and this has nothing to do with our podcast.
All right.
This is the funniest story. Remember we were playing poker once? Well, I guess it kind of has.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's our life. So.
Yeah, we were playing poker and we ordered some pizza.
Yes.
And the pizza comes, and we ordered like 3 large pizzas.
Regular kind of pizzas.
Yeah,
pepperoni, maybe one with sausage. Yeah,
Yeah,
cheese. Just regular types of pizza.
Regular pizzas. We come, we get the pizzas, we pay, the guy leaves, we're playing poker, and I want to say it was during NCAA basketball
It
time.
might have been. It was over at Paul's old house. But
and everyone was there. We're having like a big, poker, watch basketball party. Yeah. We open up the pizzas. They've got cottage cheese and tomato slices.
I remember
all 3 of them
vividly.
All 3 of them.
So we're thinking, did we get somebody else's order? Who would order that?
Yeah,
Number
I'd
one.
like to meet the guy that ordered 3 extra large cottage cheese and sliced tomatoes pizza.
Yep.
Even if you're like a vegetarian or something, that doesn't make sense. Right?
Oh, that was something. And we took one bite and I was like, this is terrible.
It was the grossest.
I think we went out and got more pizza.
Yeah, we did. We had to go out and buy more pizza. It was marinara sauce with a bunch of cottage cheese, and For me, hot cottage cheese is not good. There's some things you can't
Something
eat hot.
happens to cottage cheese when you warm it.
Yeah, and then just slices of tomato on top.
Yeah, I remember.
That's how my life's been.
It was you. Yeah, it was you.
was me.
Yeah, if it had been just Paul and me and some
you
other
would've got
friends,
pepperoni
we would have
and
been fine.
sausage,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Oh my God. All right, let's hear from Kevin and Angie.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kevin and Angie from San Antonio. We just got back from a trip to Vegas for the Super Bowl, which was great. On your last podcast, you mentioned Texas, and here in San Antonio, there's not. We're pretty far from any casinos. There is actually a small casino. I think it's only slots only down by the border, Kickapoo, here in Texas. But it's so bad we haven't even been down there. We actually like the fact that there's no casinos near us. I think it's about 8 hours drive to a real casino because it keeps Vegas special. And we get to Vegas and we just go crazy. So anyway, we were in Vegas for the Super Bowl. Downtown was really busy, right, hon?
It was very, very busy. It was almost impossible at some times during the day to get on a video poker machine at the bar and, both my vice and my love, roulette.
Yeah, we had to go to multiple casinos to find an open table. Yeah, it was crazy. You guys also mentioned getting overpaid, and we did have an incident which almost went the other way. We left a craps table on the downtown crown, by the way, or the D rather. The craps tables were $15 minimum during the day on Saturday. It seemed pretty high for them. But we checked out with 4 black and some couple reds. Went over to the cashier and dropped on the counter there, and the lady gave us $340. And I looked at her and I said, "No, that was $400." And she immediately looked back and goes, "Okay," and then hands me another $100 bill, which I thought was really strange. I mean,
it's weird.
I've seen them mispay, but usually it's a big, rigmarole. They call somebody over or something like that. I was almost a little suspicious how quick she was willing to give us an extra $100.
Well, I think it was nice. It's always good for you when you do that thing that you do with the chips where you spread them out.
Right, so the camera can see them.
Right.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that. So we stayed at the Downtown Grand, and I think we both loved it, right?
We did.
We'd heard some bad things, but now the one thing, and I think everybody should put this in their reviews, is we won. So, so our review may be biased by that, but we had no problems. The hotel was nice. The casino was great.
Yeah, the casino floor is a little bit small. It only has 1 roulette table and 2 craps tables.
Yep.
So if the roulette table was full, then it was full. There was no other alternative. So that meant we lost our money slower at blackjack.
Yeah, and they had the double deck pitch game at blackjack, which was nice too, and $5 10-time odds. At one of the craps tables the whole time. So it was a great trip, and we were Patriots fans, and most Atlanta fans were pretty nice to us. We watched the game at the Downtown Grand in one of the ballrooms there. They had a food and beverage thing, all you can eat and drink, and we had a great time, especially the end of the game there.
Yeah, right. And the William Hill book was right around the corner, so it was easy to access, especially for some people who will go unnamed Kevin, who made bets at the halftime.
Yeah, we were able to get in and out, no problem. It was actually, I think, a good secret spot to watch the Super Bowl if you want to get away from the crowds. But yeah, overall, a great outcome. Can't complain about that, and a great trip. And thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
All right, good. Yeah, thanks for the report.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking at the very beginning when he said, not having a casino near them keeps Vegas special.
Yes.
And, that's kind of true, right?
Sure.
Because we go out so much here. It's like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to Vegas.
Oh, yeah,
it's not as special as it used to be.
Oh, Vegas used to be the big thing for us, right? When we couldn't go out and just play locally, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing special about Vegas now is staying up till, 4 or 5 a.m. with Kevin while Angie feeds me delicious candies.
Yeah. Right.
While we're playing craps.
That's about it. Yeah, on the last episode, I had basically said there are no casinos in Texas, and that's not entirely true. There's just no full-blown real casino.
Right.
They do have some casinos with bingo and
pull
tab machines, things like that, but no actual, real gaming, real slots kind of a casino.
I don't even know what are those called? We can't call those casinos. Pull tabs and bingo does not a casino make.
No, it doesn't. Right? It's well, this whole thing with the cashier. That is very suspicious.
Well,
you almost
yes.
think that, like, okay, I'm going to short these people $100 and just pocket it.
Yeah.
And then when they caught her, it's like, oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah, she doesn't want anyone to know.
You'd think that if you were called on that, it's like, oh wait, let me look again and recount.
If
it would
it
be
was
some
an
big
actual
thing.
accident, she would have had to call her supervisor
Something
over.
like that, yeah.
They would have had to, say, okay, pay him, or they would have said, let's check the camera real quick. I mean, no casino does that.
It's suspicious. I mean,
It's
we're
very
not saying that absolutely she was doing something
I would have
wrong,
just
but,
quickly said, yeah, it was 500.
right. And then she say, "Oh no, now I'll count." Yeah, we want that 100 that's in your pocket.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there was something weird going on there, Kevin.
All right. Talking about dealer mistakes. Let's hear from Andrew.
Hey guys, it's Andrew from Virginia. I was on my way up to MGM National Harbor this morning, and I popped on last week's podcast and heard you talking about dealer mistakes. And interestingly enough, I had my first real run of dealer mistakes tonight. So as you know, it's a new casino, obviously new dealers. I was playing blackjack, and I got on a little run. I was playing 3 hands at $200 a piece, and 3 times in a row, I had either 17 or 18 on all 3 hands, and he pulled either an 18 or 19 to beat me on all 3 hands, and he paid me all 3 times. And then throughout the course of the shoe, he messed up a few other times, just paying me on a push or a loss. But all in all, it was close to probably $3,000 or $2,500 at least.
That's a huge mistake
that he had. So once that shoe was over, I didn't push my luck anymore. I cashed in and walked away. And the other thing was the pit boss was right next to him watching it one time. And I was going to say something, but I figured I'd just let it ride and let her do it, and she never said a word. So anyway, he might not be there next time I go, but if he is, I'm gonna find his table. All right, guys, talk to you later.
Wow, that's astounding.
That's
when
amazing.
If somebody's playing multiple hands, of hundreds of dollars, you think that the pit would be watching. You think the dealer would be. That's
I
amazing.
think the dealer would be on alert.
Yeah,
right?
wow.
You know what's funny is you probably don't even want to tip him after that.
Yeah,
right?
really, to give the impression that you're in on it.
If somebody looked later, the camera, they went, "Oh, he's in on look." You gave him a tip.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of like, "Oh, thanks," and walk away, and definitely look for him next time.
Yeah, and be careful, right? You don't want to get in trouble for something that wasn't your fault.
He could have just been having a bad night. The dealer,
Sure.
Other stuff on his mind or something.
Yeah.
Probably got some stupid pizza for dinner. He's all upset.
That's right. He's all grossed out. He took one bite, and who would order this?
Yeah, you got to live with that the rest of your life.
Awful.
There's no going back.
There's no going back. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Robert from Mississippi. I was just calling to give you some information about the Mississippi Coast casinos, and then also give you a little story in addition to that. So on the coast, we've got about 8 to 10 casinos down there, with the premier one being the Beau Rivage, which is an MGM property, and it's actually designed a lot like the Bellagio, obviously a little smaller, but very nice. And then it also has a smaller Harrah's Gulf Coast Casino, which is obviously the Total Reward Caesars version with a number of other casinos in the area. So my craft story would be at the Scarlet Pearl, which is a new casino across the bay in D'Iberville, Mississippi. I went and played one night here recently, played for about an hour and lost the $100 I bought in with. So I went to the break, watched my wife play a little bit at roulette, and then I came back and just decided to play $20 more. Well, on that $20, I won a little bit back, but got back down to the original 20, and I had a $5 chip left. And whenever I tossed in the $5 chip, I tried to get a $2 C&E, so I was expecting $3 change. Well, when the dealer said 3 change and put the chips in front of me, I scooped them up immediately like normal. Then when I glanced at them, I realized it was actually $51 change, 2 greens and 1 white. So I stared at them for about 5 seconds awkwardly, trying to decide what I was going to do and thinking about what y'all suggested in the past, and I decided to just pop it and walk away. So ended up only down $50 for the night just by a nice gift from the dealer. So appreciate the advice. Definitely us versus the casino, and really appreciate the podcast. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Now, we don't want to give you the impression that we're encouraging you to take the money when a dealer makes a mistake. We're just saying that's what we do. Now, maybe there's no difference. By saying that we do it, it's our way of telling you that's what you should do. That's like our advice. Oh, Mark and Dr. Mike say it's okay. Just be comfortable with whatever moral code you've decided to live your life by, right? If you're, and we've talked about it. We actually think there is a line between dealing with a cashier at a grocery store versus dealing with a dealer at a casino. So
yeah, and we're the kind of guys, we don't cross that line. So we have a certain moral code in one place and a separate moral code
different one at the
in another place. And maybe that's not right.
Maybe not.
But it is what we do.
Yeah.
And we've been...
That is what we do, but we're not telling you to do it. You've got to make your own decision.
We've lost plenty of money. I know I have, anyway, over the years. So I don't feel too bad if I get a little overpaid. Now, if it was real egregious or I thought the dealer might get in trouble or it was something, just way out of line, I would definitely say something.
Yeah. What's the cutoff for you? What's way out of line? You brought it up.
Okay, here, I'll tell you what.
Okay,
If I was supposed to get like 2 red chips back, $10, and they gave me 2 black chips, $200, I'd probably say something.
You would?
Yeah. I would say something.
All right.
But remember.
Well, see, I don't know if
there was a dirty stack the other night, right? A stack of green. And I said, no, there's 100 in there. But if it was like, I was supposed to get $10 back and, instead I got 15, they gave me an extra red chip. I'm not saying anything.
Well, see, now I'm going to call you on this because in your example, $10 versus $200.
Oh, you're talking about the $350?
Yeah, and that's a difference of $190. And here you were telling a story last week about how you got, $350.
You saw how long I left that out there.
Well, I know, but
I left that out there a long time.
I know, but here you're saying.
I know.
All right, so it's.
But see, that was money, and what's funny is, so the very next hand, I left the same bet, and it was an immediate out.
Well, so
I lost
what?
it anyway.
But
you know what? I felt bad about that. Because I thought, see, that was karma. I should have probably pointed it out.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy would have rolled 3 points.
All right. You've got a moving target.
Yeah.
With your moral code. That's basically what it is.
In a casino.
In a casino, you've got a moving target.
The rest of my life, it's pretty straightforward, I think.
All right. One more call from Daniel.
Hey guys, this is Daniel from Louisville, Kentucky. I was calling because I had a question. I'm going to Vegas in a few weeks, and over the last month or 2 months or so, I've been trying to learn poker a little bit, specifically playing Texas Hold'em with friends and on my phone, just trying to learn it. And I thought it would be super fun to actually play a game somewhere in Vegas. But I wanted to call and ask you guys, I don't know if you do play when you go to Vegas or if you have, but my questions are, what is your favorite place to play if you have played in Vegas? And I would love to just hear kind of a walkthrough of what to expect. I've never been even into a poker room at a casino and would love to just get a walkthrough of what to expect. What's some etiquette, just kind of how it goes, and maybe some tips in terms of just how to handle yourself while you're there, because it seems really intimidating, but I don't know if that's actually the case. So, love the show. Thanks, guys.
If you're going to go play poker in Las Vegas, we would recommend, if you're able to, go to a local poker room if you have one in your area,
right? Just
to kind of see what it's like. Because that way you can go home afterwards. And
you know what? If you're going to go to one of those, if you're going to go to a local place, like say you were here in San Diego and you're going to go to one of the local casinos, go midweek.
Oh, when it's slower.
When it's slower,
and,
there might only be 1 or 2 tables going.
Yeah,
or if it was a weekend, go on a Saturday in the morning.
Maybe,
not at prime time at night when there's a lot more people and there's a lot more going on. I think that'd be a good way to learn.
The only thing I would say is that sometimes you go midweek or early in the day, there aren't many games running.
Right.
And
well,
maybe
that'd be the problem.
Texas Hold'em, No Limit Texas Hold'em is the only thing going.
Yeah, you'd have to find a place where there was a game.
It sounds like Daniel's going here real soon to Vegas, so he probably isn't able to do that. But let's go over a few things. We have played poker in Vegas, but not in some time. Yeah. It's actually been a few years. We like the Venetian. Very comfortable, big room, nice chairs.
You have a huge room there.
Yeah, I love that. We've also heard good things about the Golden Nugget poker room, and Vegas Fanboy recommended the Flamingo because they have 1-2 limit games going, at least one. You've heard other casinos, the Aria, and
the last time I played was at the Mirage.
At Mirage, that was the same with me, right?
And it was kind of big. I mean, the poker room wasn't huge, but it was fair size.
Yeah.
It was crowded.
I would recommend not going to as big a place as Aria to play maybe initially, but the first thing that you do is you check in at the desk, or they call it the brush. You go up to this counter, and they should have a list of all the games that are going on currently. They should be on big TV screens. Some of the older rooms, they actually write it up there, but it'll show all the games going on, Omaha, Texas Hold'em, the limits, that kind of thing. And you just say, okay, I'd like to sign up for such and such game. And if there's a seat available, they'll seat you right away. And if not, then you'll go on a waiting list and they'll call you when, a seat opens up. And a lot of the bigger rooms now, they may even give you a beeper or just take your phone number and text you when a seat opens up. So you don't have to stand there. You can go look around the casino or get something to eat. But that's the absolute first thing that you do. Once you've been assigned a seat, you'll need to get chips. A lot of rooms have runners that will get chips for you. So, you just say you're going to buy in for $100, something like that. You just put it on the table. They've got people running around that'll take your money and bring back the chips. Right. Alternatively, you can go to the cashier. Usually poker rooms have a dedicated cashier separate from the casino cage that just is for the poker room. You could just go up there and get your chips right like that and take them to the table. A lot of times when you sit down, maybe you'll have a rack, a physical rack, one of those plastic racks with all your chips. Some casinos let you keep those racks on the table. Some insist that you take all your chips out and put the rack aside. So that will depend on the casino. When you first sit down, if you're not in the big blind, they may ask you to post an amount equal to the big blind to start playing right away. You just have to post that money. You can decline that and just say, I'm going to wait until the big blind gets around to me.
Which what I would do.
Sure, I would recommend that too.
I would recommend that especially if you're just starting out. That way you get to fill the table out a little.
That's right. You can see the mechanics of it. You can even see what the players are like and kind of get a feel for the game.
Sure.
And then once the big blind comes around to you, then, you post the big blind, you're ready to go. It's funny, Mike, in a lot of the San Diego casinos, and I haven't seen this anywhere else, you can come into a game, not be the big blind, just be, middle position, and they'll let you start playing.
Right.
Yeah, you don't even have to post.
Right.
But typically that is not the case. Now, usually when you're playing a casino game for the first time, it's good to tell the dealer that you're a newbie, because then they know that maybe you're not, don't know everything, and they can help you out. Probably not a good idea at the poker table, because then you're just announcing to everybody that you're a fish and, they should come after you.
That's what I was going to say. Walk in with some confidence.
Yes.
Even if internally you don't have that confidence, just pretend like you do and have a little confidence when you sit down. Yeah. I think that'll make it go easier.
It will help. Now, chances are the players are still going to be able to figure out that you're a new player, just based on certain things you don't know what to do or whatever. So don't stay at the table too long the first time you play. Just get a feel for it and then maybe walk away before they all pounce on you. If, because a lot of times you go to poker tables, poker rooms, and it's a lot of regulars.
Right.
And if you're a new face, they're not going to get together and obviously collude on you, but there will be some of that. Like, we're going for this guy. I'm going to give you a break because we're all going for this guy. So, you have to
get the weakest link out.
That's basically. Right. Yeah. Beyond that, the game plays just like the way you play with your friends or on your phone. Yes, it can be very intimidating because you're playing against other people instead of the casino. So just keep calm and remember you're there to learn and hopefully have fun.
Yeah, you know what? And this is not just for poker, but also for craps, which a lot of people say they're intimidated at. Blackjack, people say, I never play live blackjack because it intimidates me. Don't be intimidated. There's nothing to be intimidated about. Mm-hmm. Everyone starts somewhere.
Yes.
We've all been in situations where we're totally unfamiliar with it. Mm-hmm. And you get through it.
Yes.
I mean, sure, you might screw up. And so what? You screw up. Yeah. Everyone has screwed up. People who are good players screw up. Last week at Harrah's, how many times did I screw up on the craps table? There was a period there. It's like my mind went dead.
Oh, yeah. You're forgetting to take odds. You're taking the wrong amount.
I took the wrong amount several times.
Yeah, it was bad last week. Yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with my head, but, everybody screws up. And that's somebody who's played a gazillion times.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even give it a second thought.
Well, and I think that's a good reason to not play very long that first time.
Right.
Because a lot of the anxiety will be gone once you've done it once.
Right.
Then the next time, now I know what I'm going to do. And you can kind of mentally prepare for that.
Right. Yeah. Go to another place and play somewhere else.
The only other things I would say is be sure to protect your cards. So get like some kind of card protector or something that you can put on top, because you don't want them accidentally mucked. If you're sitting right next to the dealer and your cards are out there, the dealer might think that, this guy folded and grab your card. Right. So have a card protector there. Also, be sure to tip the dealer. when you win. You know, it could just be a buck or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, like
that's good etiquette.
Yeah, all other casino dealers, they're maybe getting minimum wage. Yeah.
Sure. And another thing I think too, be very deliberate in your moves.
Yes, that's true too. Yeah. That's a good point, Mike. If somebody's playing for the first time, I think you should announce what you're doing so if you're going to call or raise, actually say it, call and put out the money so that it's very clear what you're doing.
And there's no confusion that way. You'll see people who play a lot just throw their money in.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not paying attention, did they call? Did they raise? What did they do? They just assume you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're starting out, though, if you say, I'm calling, and you put the amount, or you say, I'm going to raise, to $30, and you put that out, no one can complain about that.
Yes. I still do this. Even if I check, when I knock the table to check, I say check. I make it really clear.
Yeah, I tap my hand and say check.
Yeah. I remember playing in a tournament a couple years ago where the guy next to me obviously had played a lot of poker, and he was real cocky, and there was one time where he was going to raise, but he took a pile of chips and only dropped a couple of them.
Right.
And then dropped the rest. Well, that's a string bet. Like we were talking about. And the dealer called him on it. And I'm thinking, how could somebody who's been playing this long still make a mistake like that? It's because he didn't say what he was going to do and he didn't make a deliberate move. He was more looking cool than anything else. Well, here's how I'm going to put my chips out there.
There's two reasons for that. Either A, he's trying to pull a fast one.
Possibly,
or B, he's just so arrogant he thinks that he can just do whatever he wants.
That could be.
That's probably the case in that situation. I just say be deliberate. Show a little bit of confidence. Even if you're shaking inside, just give the impression that you're confident.
Yeah.
You'll do fine.
Yeah.
And we've all, everyone has to start somewhere.
Yep, exactly.
I always get mad at people, even at the craps table. If someone doesn't know how to play, give them a little break.
Mm-hmm.
I get more upset when the guy knows how to play and is doing something that is obviously annoying.
That's much worse.
That is much worse.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Let's talk about this episode's gambling scene. This is not a segment that we're going to do every time, but we're going to do it, especially if we've got time to do it. And this scene kind of ties in to what Jason was talking about at his home game. Now, the scene is from the movie I Love You, Man. You haven't seen it, have you?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a comedy, and it stars Paul Rudd. He plays a man named Peter who's about to get married and doesn't know who he's going to ask to be his best man because he doesn't really have any male friends. So in an effort to change that, he tries to befriend the husband of his fiance's friend. The husband is played by Jon Favreau. Now, in the course of doing this, Paul Rudd attends a poker game with Favreau and his buddies. Rudd doesn't really know poker. On one of the poker hands, Favreau goes all in and proudly shows trip queens. Now, Rudd, who had called the all in, he turns over his hand and he's made a runner-runner flush. And Favreau is none too happy. Now, I've edited this clip quite a bit to keep this a family-friendly gambling show, but in a way, the bleeps kind of make it funnier, so let's listen.
The big dog. There it is. Let me ask you guys. Beatles, Stones. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
All in.
You don't care.
Nice.
All in.
It is.
That too, pal. I will call in. Too much for me.
You're in. Anybody else? Just me and you? Yeah. That's it? Pot right?
That's it.
Trip queens.
Nice. Oh. Ladies. 3 ladies. Nice hand.
Finally.
Nice.
Finally.
Let's see what he's got. Yeah, let's see what he's got. Nothing. I have 5 spades. He's got the flush. Yes, flush.
I'm not going to relax. I said you're an eater. What are you standing with 7 dudes suited? With a rainbow rag flop. Take chips here. I'm buying it. I'm sorry. I don't know. Just give me some more chips.
I didn't know it was a rainbow.
Buttons with me.
Anybody who's played poker has been there. Why did you stay in with that hand?
7
deuce offsuit. They had 1 spade on the flop, nothing else, right? And he just calling, right?
I like that he says, I didn't know it was a rainbow. He has no idea what that means.
That's right.
I didn't know it was a rainbow.
So this is why I was saying it was kind of like the dilemma Jason was having with his home game. Not exactly the same, but Paul Rudd's there. He's asking questions about the Beatles and Rolling Stones, right? And Jon Favreau's character, he's just there to play cards, right? He's there to play poker. Oh my! Another thing I love about this clip, I remember seeing this in the theater. This might be the most realistic poker scene I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's really how people get together. And, one guy just, what are you doing?
Right.
Right? And there's, how many times have you seen a poker scene in a movie or TV show and it's not real? Like some guy will say, all right, I'm going to raise to $10,000.
Right.
The other guy says, well, I don't have $10,000.
Right.
Well, you got to get your, ring or your car. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
The most you can lose is whatever you have in front of you, right? But here's an actual 7 deuce. What are you doing calling on a rainbow flop? Oh, and I love that Paul Ruddy says call in.
Yeah.
Okay, I call in. Like that guy did it to me at the tournament that one time where he said, call in. Oh, he's all in? Oh, I love that scene. So all our gambling scenes we've had so far have been funny. I mean, those are our favorite ones, right? It's easy enough to write some gambling scene where a guy wins a lot of money, but it's fun to watch the funny ones.
Well, those are more real life.
Yeah, well,
you take a movie like Let It Ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's not real life.
No, it's not. No. We love that movie, but no, it's not. It's not real life.
It's not real life.
No. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to send best wishes out to Michael Movestro at Vegas Bright. He is recovering from gallbladder surgery, so he's been away from his podcast. He took some time off from the website, too. So best wishes to him. Speedy recovery. Sounds like he's doing okay. So, hopefully we'll see you at 360 Vegas Vacation 4. So
good.
That'll be good. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Brian and Sarah for a recurring donation. Thank you. Also to Zach for a recurring donation. And Sean, he says, hey guys, thanks for a great podcast. Here is a karma donation for when I go to Vegas March 12th through the 16th. So good luck, Sean. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listing showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. I redid our webpage because our provider is switching over to some different things. I wanted to take advantage of some of the things that they had to offer. And in the course of doing so, I discovered that TV listings link was broken.
What?
So, I found it on my own. So it sounds like maybe people either aren't clicking on that or clicked on it and just, it doesn't work or whatever. So hopefully some people are getting something out of it. At least I'm able to find shows that I want to watch.
You're doing it for your own personal use. That's fine.
That's fine.
Nothing wrong with
anybody
that.
else cares, go to our page and click on TV listings. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. What do you got, Mike?
Well, coming up, and I think we'll have one more podcast before the NCAA tournament starts, right?
Yes. We will actually release the podcast
the day it starts.
The day that it starts.
God, we should have talked more about it tonight.
Yeah, we've talked about it in previous years.
People know how to run pools and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we don't know who's going to be playing. We haven't. There's some teams that are obviously going to get in, but we don't have the whole rundown.
Well, we'll have to talk about that a little bit on the next episode.
Okay.
And, if you need information about how to run an NCAA tournament pool, email Mark and we'll send you what we know.
Oh, yeah, but the ones we do, you don't
goofy.
even pick. They're goofy.
They're goofy, but that's fun.
Just do the Yahoo one. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, the Yahoo one. That's fine.
Also,
I like it more goofy.
Yeah, the goofy. We do have a goofy
right?
one.
You don't have to be serious about picking teams and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. It's not as serious. It goes faster. It's not like there's a draft that you have to go through.
And you end up rooting for weird teams, which is good.
Yeah. Also, we're only going to have one more episode before you leave for your trip to DC.
Right.
So we'll talk about that next time. Yeah. And
hopefully we're going to get there. I'm thinking about Wednesday night.
That's what you were thinking. Yeah, that's what I've been telling people too. So maybe Wednesday night, that last Wednesday in March,
that might be good.
You'll head out to
my
National
wife has
Harbor.
a relative that actually lives in the DC area.
Okay.
And they might be visiting us one night, so it might change.
Sure.
I'm not going to be 100% sure till right then, but we will let you know. I'll let you know. So
all right. Very good. Anything else?
No, I'm excited about the NCAA tournament.
Sure, we always are. It is the best. We say it every year. Bar none.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why I don't use bar none more.
Yeah, we talked about it on one episode, and then it just faded away.
All right, I'm gonna make an effort to say bar none every single day.
Excellent. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that whenever I'm with you. All right, thanks for listening.
Good night.